Hi, it's Nick Jervis from the More Clients Academy, and in this video I want to talk to you about value-based fees, which I'm a massive fan of, and which certainly transformed my business when I started using them. Bearing in mind my background as a solicitor, everything was about charging for time, and therefore, like most people in business, I started off charging day rates or half day rates or meeting appointments. And I realized there's a problem with that in that there's only so far you can go, there's only so many hours in the day. And the biggest problem with this, it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for your client, and I'll show you why in this training. But if you can get your head around value-based fees and implement it into your business, then it makes selling your service easier, it makes the whole process easier. So let's take a look and dive into it. So your main problems with fees are charged by the hour. It creates problems for you because it limits the amount of income you can make for your business. Or for your part of the business, and you end up focusing on time, not results, because that's the only measure of what you're doing. You're doing something, and you feel you have to do something to justify your fees. But the problem isn't just for you; it's definitely with your clients, because if the only measure they have of your activity is your time spent, then that's all they want to measure, and they will want to see your clock. How much time have you spent doing this? So this doesn't really work for either of you. And with value-based fees, you can totally change this. And the most important thing with value-based fees is, as the title says, you have to work out the value of your service to your client. And I'll give you some examples in a bit, but the most important thing is to have what I call a meaningful conversation. So if someone comes on a call with me, on a More Clients Now strategy call, and remember, each call you offer should have a benefit in the title. So you talk to me, I'm going to tell you how to get more clients. If you're a financial advisor, your call might be how to grow your portfolio, grow your wealth. So as long as there's a benefit in your call, I always want to have the meaningful conversation, which is I need to get to the bottom of what the concern is, what the itch is, what the pain is that is driving that call with the client. For me, obviously, it's normally around they need more clients, they want to bill more. And so I can cover value-based time, but also how to get more clients. So you need to work out what your big fear is, or what your client's big fear or concern is. And the important thing is here, not to give advice, because many people will push you straight to the advice, but the first call is never about advice. It's about finding out what matters to that client so that you can then attach your services to their needs. So it's about finding out what their pain is, what their needs are, what their wants are. And remember, whether it's B2B or B2C, it's exactly the same, because you're dealing with people. And all of us make purchases emotionally. We might not think we do, but ultimately we want something out of a relationship, and our decision-making process, there'll be facts in there, but there's also a lot of emotion as well. So you've got to find out what that need is, what the client wants, and really drill home to it. So for me, if it's a client that says, I want 10 more clients a month, and I can say, how much is a client worth to you? £1,000 each. So that's £10,000 a month in additional fee that we're looking to create for them. I've got something very easy to pin that against. And I'll give you some other examples coming up. So the key point to establish the value of your fees is working out what the thing is that the client, what the value is to the client. Is it time saved? Is it additional turnover? Is it additional profits? Is it removal of stress, which is a massive one? Is it removal of, if you're in the fitness trade, weight or better health, slower heart rate, whatever it might be? You've got to get that value, because then it makes it much easier to sell your service against them. Once you know that, so example, if I'm going to make you an additional £50,000 a year, you anchor that, you put that, you have to spell out for them in monetary terms what's that is worth to them, because they won't do it themselves. In the legal world, for instance, in sort of drink driving or speeding offences, I would tell a client to say, get to the bottom of what matters to that client. If they lose their license, what's that going to cost them? If they've got a job, if they're earning 100,000 a year, they lose their license, they can't do their job. Obviously, there's a very easy anchor there, which is you're going to lose £100,000 a year. So you need to fix that. Therefore, once you anchor that point, you give them a price of £100,000 a year, lose your license 3 years, that's £300,000. What would you pay to save that 300 grand? What would you pay to keep your license? Now, they may well be thinking, well, 30,000, 10%, what's the right fee? So when the fee is produced at anything from £2,000 to £5,000, it sounds much more reasonable. And again, if I'm saying you're going to make an additional £50,000 a year, if my fee is then £750 a month to run your Google Ads account, that's very reasonable. You've pitched it against a point that they are seeing what's in this for them. If you don't get to the bottom of this, they won't work this out themselves. So it's your job, and your job only, to make them go through the mental process of, okay, I'm not just buying this X service, I am buying a result. What is that result worth to me? And you have to get them to go through the process to say it out loud, because then you've got your price condition, your anchor point to pitch it against. So financial advisor, wealth manager, your value is going to be how you expect the portfolio to grow. So there's a very tangible value there. Same in marketing or sales. You're looking at turnover or profit. You can pitch against that. You can anchor against that. Your fees should always be less, or you can agree a percentage of what you're going to get. My only view on agreeing fees based on results is that most people will renege on that deal every single time. I've seen it myself dozens of times. So it's a lovely concept, but most people, as soon as you've made them the sales that you promised, they don't want to pay this. Well, I've done all the work. Why should you get any? So just my view is never do that. Charge a fair price. Client gets results. You get to keep a client. Everyone's happy. If we're in the health industry, we're giving therapy, we're an osteopath, or we're a personal trainer, then the easy anchor is, what is that improvement in health for you? If you can't, I remember working with a brilliant personal trainer who's a More Clients Academy member, and one person couldn't lift their grandchild, so that really hurt them. So they got fit to be able to lift their grandchild. It might be being able to take part in sports days, or just losing weight, feeling better. If someone's looking to if someone's in pain every day, then if you can take that pain away from them, they can be more efficient in work, and they can enjoy their social life more. So you've always got to find what the trigger is: an accountant, tax saved, or hassle saved, and not having to bookkeep. The worst thing you can do if you're not an accountant, get someone to do it, because it's just a big faff. So you've always got to get to the bottom of what the value is to that client. And when you do this, and if you struggle with this, just ask questions below the video. It's better for you, it's better for your client. Your client suddenly isn't worried, are you spending time? They're just looking for the results, and you go away and produce those results. It's so much easier to sell, because suddenly the client has an anchor, and you say, well, my fee's only this compared to that anchor. It sounds very reasonable. And now you aren't just selling days of time. You can now scale your business because you're selling results. And the one thing that's wrong with selling time by the hour is, as you get better and more experience, you can get results in a much faster period of time because you're great at this. If you do it quicker and you're charged by the hour, you actually earn less money. So the only way to improve that is to increase your hourly rate, which then makes it harder to sell because it's a bigger number. But if you charge by the result, I will do this for you, and this is the expected outcome, then suddenly it doesn't matter whether it takes you 1 hour, 5 hours, 10 hours, as long as you are adding value against what the client wants results wise, everyone is happy. So I hope this gives you a lot of food for thought, and I hope you start practicing value-based fees in your business. Thank you, Small Clients Academy. I will see you soon.